listings for the third figure of Toho Ultimates Wave 5 from Super7 have been found and are now starting to make their way across social media channels. So we're going to take a look here. It was first found on the Books A Million website. So here you have it, Toho Ultimates Wave 5 Centuries End Godzilla 1995. So obviously there's a few things here to chew on. We've got a year, 1995, but also the name Centuries End Godzilla. And I'm sure for some of you folks, this is going to be quite surprising. I don't think we've ever gotten a figure from Monster Arts or the like with this exact name. And I got to tell you that this is surprising, but not for me. So as it actually turns out, if you go back to the video I made on the reveal of Wave 5 from Toho, if you look at the URL, it actually says here, Ultimates Wave 5 Centuries End Godzilla 95. So this is actually something that I've sat on for a little bit because I noticed the URL. I actually noticed the URL during my conversation with Kyle Wadiga about this wave. And so towards the end of that video, you'll notice there's a moment where I sort of get staggered, and because that was the moment where I was like, wait a second, there's a piece of information here. And so I was talking to Kyle about it afterward, and the webmaster ended up taking it down. But now it does seem that there are listings for this figure. If you Google Centuries End Godzilla, first of all, the AI Google thing is completely wrong. But you'll see listings at deep discount, but also previews. This is the Diamond Select Toys retailer distributor. So they've already got some listings up there preparing to put this figure up for sale as well. Now, the interview I did with Brian, we're not sure when this third figure, Centuries End Godzilla, is actually going up for order because there were some last minute changes. And I think that this is why you're seeing it here in the URL for Wave 5. Oh, sorry about that. And why these retailers have these listings up. What I believe happened is that the figure was pulled at the very, very last moment because there was something that they wanted to change and add to it. I know for a fact that there's something that they wanted to change and add to it. But I do think it was a very last minute game time decision. And that's why you're seeing these artifacts of Wave 5 out in the open. Now, if you Google Centuries End Godzilla and you look on Google Images, you will see figures of this nature, Godzilla End of the Century. It's a Bandai vinyl with glitter in the plastic. So there's a couple different images out there. And so it's not Century's End, it's End of the Century, which, linguistically probably doesn't have a whole lot of difference between the two. But I'm sure some of you might be wondering, like, what's the deal with this third figure? Is the thing that Brian's been hyping up since November just a glittery Godzilla and nothing else? Well, I think it's fair to share with you at this point that I do know a little bit more about the figure than I've let on, and it's not going to be just a glittery version of the figure from Wave 1. I'm not going to tell you, obviously, what it is, but it's a really cool figure. Brian told me a little bit about it, and I think that the closest comparison I can really give you, without spoiling a thing, is to think about Charging -1. Charging -1 is a figure where it celebrates a very specific moment in the movie, and it does it in a really unique way with the extended spines that are made in glow-in-the-dark. That's how I would think of Centuries End Godzilla. It is a moment in the movies that hasn't really been done in figure form. It's not just a glittery G89 mold. And to me, it's something that will help set apart Super7 from Monster Arts, from Hiya Toys, because if it's not clear at this point, Super7 was never trying to compete with Hiya and with Monster Arts. They are very much trying to do their own thing. And the figure, Centuries End Godzilla, I think it'll be a really special moment from the movies that's being celebrated for the first time. And it will, again, help to increase that divide to say, no, we're not trying to beat Haya. We're not trying to beat monster arts. We're trying to do our own thing, and we're trying to have fun along the way. Sentries and Godzilla is going to be a really, really cool figure, and I think for a lot of people, it's going to be a must-have. That's not to say that everyone's going to need it. Everyone's going to need to celebrate this moment from the movies, but it's going to be really, really cool. So keep an eye on this space. As we learn more information, I'll be sure to share. And until next time, I'll talk to you again soon. So, see ya.